The story of Lake Lanier is one of the strangest and most unsettling in the United States. Many people have heard of the lake, but few know about the mysteries and tragedies surrounding this place. And unlike many urban legends that are just stories told to scare, what happens at Lake Lanier has a lot of truth to it. It's the kind of place where, if you do some research, you'll find many reports of strange accidents, disappearances, and even inexplicable sightings. To start, Lake Lanier isn't a natural lake. It was created in 1956 in Georgia when the government decided to build a dam on the Chattahoochee River. In doing so, they flooded several small towns and farms in the area. Many people were forced to leave their homes, and even cemeteries were submerged. They say the bodies of some buried people were never removed and are still underwater today. That already sets a pretty eerie tone for the place, right? Shortly after the lake was formed, strange things began to happen. From unexplained boating accidents to people who disappeared in the waters and were never found again. In more than one case, bodies only surfaced years later, completely preserved, as if no time had passed. One of the most famous incidents is that of Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts, two friends who disappeared in 1958 after their car veered off the road and into the lake. The car was only found in 1990, but Delia's body had been discovered earlier in a bizarre manner. She was found floating in the water, without hands and missing toes. To this day, no one knows what really happened to them. What makes everything even stranger is that the lake seems to have a kind of curse. Since its creation, over 600 people have died there, whether from drownings, boating accidents, or mysterious disappearances. For a recreation lake, that number is terrifying. And if you look into the reports from people who frequent the area, you'll find various stories about strange sensations, shadows moving underwater, and even people who claim they've been pulled by invisible hands while swimming. Many believe the lake is haunted by the people who died during its creation, or even by the bodies that are still there, in the old cemeteries. Some say that at night you can hear sounds coming from under the water, like voices or screams. Others talk about strange lights appearing over the lake, with no explanation. Many people avoid going there, despite it being one of the region's most popular tourist destinations. One of the most well-known accounts is that of a ghostly woman who walks along the lake's shores, dressed in blue. They say this woman is the spirit of Delia Parker Young, one of the women who disappeared in the 1950s. Many people claim to have seen this figure, always near the place where their car was found. She never interacts with anyone, but her presence alone is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Now, of course, there are many who are skeptical about these stories. They'll say Lake Lanier is dangerous because of the large number of visitors, that accidents happen due to recklessness, and that disappearances are normal in such a large area. And that might explain part of what happens there. But the number of tragedies and the way they happen leave everyone with a nagging feeling. And if you talk to locals in the area, you'll see that many of them believe there's something very wrong with this lake. If you're curious, I recommend researching Lake Lanier. There are many articles, documentaries, and accounts from people who have had strange experiences there. It's not hard to find stories of people who lost family members or friends tragically in the lake's waters. And if you're brave enough, you might even pay a visit to the site. Just be careful because, as they say there, Lake Lanier isn't a place to play around. So would you have the courage to take a dip in this lake full of mysteries?